Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we are pleased to welcome a multi-star athlete who was proudly defending our country. After graduating from the United States Naval Academy, where he played for the football and track and field teams, he spent 7 years on active duty before he transitioned to the Navy Reserve. In July of this year, he was promoted from lieutenant to lieutenant commander. During his time in the academy, he developed an interest in motorsports. He began racing on the NASCAR circuit in 2015 and recently made the jump to the sport's second level, the Xfinity Series. We are talking about Jesse Iwuji. He joins this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN right now with your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, presented by Fox Sports Radio. I'm, of course, your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, and I'm excited to get into today's show. We have a very, very, very special guest joining me for the very first time on the show. He's doing so many amazing things, and he recently celebrated a birthday, so we have to make sure we celebrate him there. He is none other than North Texas native Jesse Iwuji. He's an officer in the U.S. Navy Reserve and also a NASCAR driver. So, man, that's pulling double duty and has an amazing and awesome story to share with us all. Thank you, as always, for joining us each and every week, every Thursday at 6 p.m. and every Saturday at 2 p.m. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Jesse Iwuji to the show. Jesse, how are you today?
Pretty good. How's it going?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for joining. First off, I like to ask my guests, how are you feeling? How are you doing? What's the latest with you, Jesse?
Yeah, no, it's a lot been going on recently. Just had my birthday, which was great.
Congratulations.
1 year younger.
Season, right? I like that. 1 year younger. I'm taking that.
Exactly. And then, we just ran a doubleheader weekend this past weekend. I ran a NASCAR Truck Series race on Friday night at Michigan International Speedway, and then made over to Wisconsin, the race at Road America, and my first NASCAR Xfinity Series race, which is the second highest level of NASCAR. So to be able to get up to that point and make that happen, be the only service member who's currently serving and actually racing in NASCAR, and be one of two African Americans, period, in the sport racing, has been a huge blessing. So yeah, it's been pretty fun.
It's been amazing. You kind of summed it all up. This is why I have you on the show. You're doing so many things. The first box we keep checking off, Jesse, with you, which is so amazing. You said, you're in the U.S. Navy and you're doing these amazing things, and you're an African American NASCAR driver. And I think that's something that we don't get to see enough of. Luckily, I just have had the chance to work with NASCAR, and I'm always pushing and propelling their Drive for Diversity initiative. You are a living, breathing example of it. And I think NASCAR, unfortunately, has been in the news about race, but it's more so, unfortunately, I think, been on the negative side of race, because I think, of course, the Bubba Wallace incident comes first to mind. And so let's get into it. You, as an African-American driver, what weight does that carry for you, as you said, to be that second one, right? The second one that's right now in NASCAR. I mean, what does that do for you when you step into that car, when you put on that helmet? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, being one of two African-Americans in the sport is definitely different for sure. There hasn't been a lot of African-Americans racing in the sport, over the years. total, it's like maybe 8 to 11 or so. I can't remember. At least in the top 3 levels of NASCAR. So to be able to, be the one who has that torch and that we're paving the way for those coming after us, it's pretty cool. But with all that weight on our shoulder, I'm ready to handle it. It's something I've had, throughout my whole life. Ever since the Naval Academy, been in the Navy, serving, leading people, leading sailors, Marines, and all these people. I've always been the one who's been, up front, trying to push forward and make sure that we're paving the way for all the people who are afterwards, so that they can continue to do great things. And just having the opportunity to even have this platform has been a huge blessing, and I definitely don't want to squander it. That's for sure. So definitely, and blessed to be able to even have it.
I love that. Blessed to be able to have it. You're representing so well. Many of us applaud you and cheer for you. So for you, as an African-American driver in the sport, how would you like to see NASCAR grow amongst African-American population in the United States? How do we get more fans out, Jesse, to the races? What do we do? What can we do? How do we better appeal to that population?
Yeah, right now NASCAR is doing a lot to try to really appeal to minorities. So long, everyone has thought that NASCAR was just a one-sided, that it was only Caucasians that would go, and that's it. There's no one else allowed. That's not the case. NASCAR was open for a while, and I think NASCAR is doing everything it can right now to really show that. They did some things to make it feel more inclusive. They banned the Confederate flag, which made a
huge step. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely a big step. And the funny thing is, I remember going to my first race ever. I went. And as I was going through all the spectator lot and everything, I would see all these people with all these Confederate flags.
Oh my gosh.
It scared me. It never scared me. It never made me think twice. And that was right before I even got into racing. I hadn't even raced at that point, but I, for some reason, figured that, hey, this is where I belong. I think I need to be one of those different ones. I look different. Obviously, I'm African American. I don't look like the other drivers. To be that different person who brings that different image, who brings that different voice, and not a dividing voice, a voice of unity. I'm the type of person where a house divided will fall, but a house united will rise. And
I love that. Yes.
For us to become the America that we're supposed to be, we have to unite. We have to come together. It doesn't matter what your color is. It doesn't matter where you come from. We all must come together. There's divisive forces out there who want to keep us away. Come together, and we're strong together.
Yeah, it's coming together. We're stronger together. I think that message is needed now more than ever, of course, with all that's going on in this country. And I think that's why we love sports. Actually, it brings us together. And I think that's why we're missing sports so much. We're seeing, fans can't go to many of them. So we're trying to find ways to still bring sports to people. So I really appreciate you touching on that. And you talked about it. You're doing so much good in the community. You're doing so much good through your service. But let's start with the beginning. Carlton, Texas, right? You were a 2-sport athlete in high school. So from Texas to NASCAR, explain that to us, Jesse. How does that happen? We expect most people from Texas, we think football. You played football, of course, at Navy, but just talk about just your transition to where you are today from those humble beginnings in Texas.
It's definitely been an incredible journey, that's for sure. Both parents are from Nigeria. They grew up in Nigeria their whole life. They came out to the U.S. to start a life and to provide a better opportunity for their kids. They decided to settle in Dallas, Texas, and my brothers and my sister, we all grew up there our whole life, and everyone knows that football in Texas is king.
It's king.
Racing was not my forte at first. It wasn't something that I was super interested in. I liked it. I used to watch it, but I thought I would do. All of a sudden, one day, or not one day, but really going through high school, I decided that I wanted to become a football player in college. Yeah. I worked really hard to put myself in a position to make that happen, and by my year, I got recruited by the Naval Academy, and they continue to go to a great school, get a great education, be able to play great football. And when I graduated, started a career as an officer in the United States Navy. Played football at the Naval Academy all 4 years, graduated in 2010, became a surface warfare officer. As a surface warfare officer on the ships, I spent 4 years on my first 2 ships, went on 2 different deployments, both to the Arabian Gulf, came back second deployment, and backtracking a little bit, I was developing this passion for cars and racing while I was in my first few years in the Navy.
Right.
Personal cars to different tracks near me and do track days and things like that. And finally, one day I was sitting in my room one night. It was January 2014. Yeah. Crazy decision. I was like, you know what? I want to become a professional race car driver. Like, football's done for me. I'm not playing. Yeah. I want to be a pro driver. So I took my whiteboard off my wall. I erased what I had on it, and I wrote on there, become a professional race car driver.
Oh, nice. Yes.
2014. And from there, it was just networking and researching and trying to figure out what I got to do to get there. Met a guy at a car show. He introduced me to a race team. I started racing that team, just lower level stuff. And then from there, I was like, okay, how do I get to the next level, the next level? And it's through a lot of grind over the last few years, becoming an entrepreneur to make the extra money to do it. Everything I had to do while still serving in the Navy to get where I'm at right now. And it's been an incredible 5 years. But that's basically how I went from Dallas to Navy.
What a story. And I love that you wiped off the whiteboard and you knew what you wanted to do. You put it down and you made it happen. And this is why you're here today. I think too, you joined the Navy and just seeing that you had their support. I mean, of course, you just talked about the debut that you made this weekend, but you had partners that were veteran-owned businesses supporting you. I mean, what does that mean to you to know that the Navy, the military, the vets, they support what you're doing. They believe in your goal.
It's been incredible having all these veteran-owned company supporters throughout the years, especially that just supported us this past weekend for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race and our Truck Series race. Mile 10, they were able to be our primary sponsor for the event, and they're our sponsor for another race coming up here soon. But to have these veteran-owned companies that are helping others too. I mean, mile marker helping people get into the government contracting space and giving them their own businesses and do great things like that. These are the type of brands we've been aligning with, people who are helping others out there who are veteran owned. I mean, the more we can keep it within that circle, the better. But not that I'm working with people who haven't served, but
of course,
it is so much more authentic when we're doing something that's helping and engaging with other veterans. And I've been pretty fortunate to have that opportunity to partner with plenty of veteran owned companies throughout the last 5 years.
Amazing. And I'm sure, I mean, you learn specific things in the military that I think, you don't learn elsewhere. So talk about any lessons that you've learned from your experience with the U.S. Navy that you use when you put on that helmet and you go onto that racetrack. Is there anything that kind of coincides or, that you're like, man, I'm so happy I learned this with the Navy because it's helping me, it's helping propel me for this race.
I've learned a lot in the Navy that's really helped me in racing, period. Yeah. For us, the focus that you need, I mean, it's the same focus you need on the ship. When you're on the ship, you have a bridge team, when you have, your engineering team, your combat information center, all these working together on a team. It's the same thing as in NASCAR. There's all these relations where communication, where execution, planning, all this stuff that we do in the Navy, it applies in NASCAR. And then when I come off the track, I have to deal with sponsors and sponsor obligations. Sometimes I gotta go do speaking engagements, and speaking engagements can be tough. You're saying anywhere from 50 to 1,000 people, and you're speaking in front of these folks, and sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking. But I rid of all the jitters while I was in the Navy, because when you have to stand in front of your whole ship and do a brief, in front of all these people, and your captain is sitting there grilling you. These crazy eyes, like you better not mess up. Like you really learn real quick how to speak in public. So all these different skills I learned on the ship while at the Naval Academy during all these things have translated over to NASCAR now, and I've been using it to help me really put myself in a position where I can be competitive, where I can be just like everyone else, and it took me 15, 20 years to do it. We did it within a relatively short period of time.
Amazing. I think something else I'm sure that you took the training that you all do. I mean, this physical shape you all have to be in. Until I worked for NASCAR, I didn't realize the physical shape that many of the crew is in, and even just to be a driver. So just talk about, I mean, COVID-19 obviously hit us all. I'm sure your regimen had to change. I'm sure, I don't even know if the Navy could have prepared you for something like a COVID-19, right? It surprised all of us. So when that happened, I mean, how were you able to transition your career to still be ready for these races that you're doing now?
Yeah, COVID-19 has definitely affected a lot of people in many, many ways. For us, or for me at least, I didn't want to set me back at all. I had to make a decision that COVID wasn't going to beat me. I was going to beat COVID. And during the whole quarantine time, especially when everyone was at home and couldn't really go out and do a lot of things and things like that. For me, in my mind, I was like, we got to win the wait. That during that whole time, that's a waiting period. Everyone was kind of sitting around wondering what's going to happen next. Where are we going to go? Where's life going to take? I wasn't waiting. I had to go win the wait. I was taking advantage of every single opportunity, and the opportunities of a lifetime within the lifetime of that opportunity. And is doing to make that happen has allowed us on the exit of the quarantine to be able to go out there and really pounce on great things and continue to race. As working out and staying in shape and all that stuff, I obviously couldn't go to the gym anymore. outside, and I still would do my sprints in the fields. I would come home. I had a few weights at home. I would still lift, do my sit-ups, still do everything. And I ended up actually losing 10 pounds during the quarantine time.
Jeez, you did the opposite of what most of us did, which was gain.
Exactly. It's been fun. It's been fun. Just trying to do what I can to, stay high spirits and continue to move forward. You cannot sit back, especially when things like COVID hit. Like that's what the evil in the universe wants. It wants us to sit back, us to chill, and wants us to not move forward, just move backwards. And you can't let that happen. You got to fight forward. You got to stay strong enough, long enough.
I mean, how do you keep this positive spirit, Jesse? Because I think that's what's needed to be heard right now. And again, I mean, I don't think many of us thought, August 13th, boom, we'd still be with COVID-19. I thought many of us by the summer, I thought, hopefully it'll be gone. We'll be back to life as normal. But now we don't even know if we're going to go back to normal life. What even is normal anymore, right? Like we have so many questions. So how are you able to keep just this upbeat, positive spirit with all that's going on in the world with, COVID-19? And of course, we see all the racial injustice happening, the protests. Like, how are you able to keep this just positive vibe?
Yeah, it's all faith. I learned early, at least 5 years ago or so, I learned early in the journey that a lot of things can happen, goods and bads. Life is just a cycle. It's a tunnel, and you're going through this tunnel, and it's real dark. And you got to remember, even in the darkest point of the night, the sun will still rise. So don't think that when you're walking through this journey, whatever's happening in life, whether it's COVID or all the other stuff that's happened over the last 10 years, don't think that we're just stuck in that portion. Like life is a cycle. It's coming back. Even though we're in the down, it's going to go back up. So remember, like the sun will still come out in the middle of the night. You just got to wait and keep pushing forward. So having faith that things will get better because they will. Life is a cycle. So that's what I use to keep myself in a positive mind frame and not let myself go crazy thinking that we're just stuck.
Yeah, we're not stuck. I promise people it's going to get better. You're right. You have to think of something positive. I think, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So I love that you said that. You just made me think, how did you even celebrate your birthday? Did you get to do anything fun?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I did anything fun by a lot of people's standards.
It was a COVID quarantine birthday, so you can only do so much, right?
It was, yeah. I mean, early in the day, I was just grinding away. I have a lot of opportunities that have been getting thrown our way. I'm trying to take as many as possible, setting things up for the future, building my business, getting ready to figure out what race we're going to do next. All that stuff. That's what I was working on early in the day, and then once it got towards the end of the day, my girlfriend did some really, really nice for me, which is great.
Awesome.
And cake for me, which was a lemon cake. I love lemon cake, and I never cake for my birthday, which was great. I was happy. Just a chill day. Went and grabbed some food. I think we went to Texas Roadhouse or something because I love Texas Roadhouse.
Nice choice. Yes. Did you get to? I know they usually let you ride the bull, right, for your birthday. Did you get to do that at all? No.
They're not letting anyone inside of Texas.
Oh my gosh, that's right, because of COVID. See, all the fun things you can do now.
And eat outside. Everyone has to eat outside. They basically made all these things outside to keep everyone.
Oh my gosh. And but look, COVID save is what we wanted because we need you back on the racetrack. So glad to hear that. I heard in the midst of all that you're doing, you said starting a business, maintaining your business. I mean, how were you able to balance that? And tell us more about this business that you have.
Yeah, so back in 2015 when I started racing, I quickly realized that racing is not cheap and it's very expensive. And the officer in the Navy, I make decent money, but I wasn't making enough money to race in NASCAR, that's for sure. Yeah. So I had to find a way to get that extra money to race. And at first I was like, let's go find sponsorship. I quickly figured out it's not easy to find sponsorship.
It's not.
It's
not easy, but it's not.
Exactly. A lot of people think, just go talk to this company. They should, that's not they have a budget. No matter how much money they make. McDonald's makes billions of dollars. Doesn't mean they're going to give you any.
Exactly. Even though I wish, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I started my own business. I started hosting racing events at different tracks in California. And the money I made from that was what I used to help really launch my racing career. And then from there, I've expanded the businesses out a little bit. We have a trucking company now where we have semi-trucks on the road hauling goods all across the West. And then now we're getting into some real estate stuff too. So I've been doing that the last few years now and just trying to build a small little empire. You see Penske out there, they're a big racing team, but they have all those trucks out everywhere. I want to be like that. I want to have my name all over the place. And
everywhere, yes.
This empire that's growing. So that's what I'm working on, just building my business stuff because that's what's going to sustain me in life. Racing is not going to pay the bills forever, but stuff will.
You have that backup plan, which is so important. You know, you always want, who doesn't want multiple sources of income, but also planning for life after. I think that's so important. I think COVID-19 has kind of shown us that, you know, that nothing is promised, nothing is guaranteed, and it's always great to have a backup plan. And you already started your business so young and so early. And so I think it's fantastic, just fantastic to see. So congrats to that. I keep applauding you. And we have to talk football. Of course, you played football. We're all asking questions, Jesse, about college football. There's a lot happening, to say the least, with college football. I mean, here in DC, I'm thinking of automatically how much I always look forward to that Army-Navy game. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, are we going to have college football? You see some of the Power 5 conferences, you know, trying to hold on. So just in your thoughts and opinions with all that's happening with the world, what are your thoughts on college football as a former collegiate athlete? Do you think we should move forward?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Football is a sport where if somebody does, you know, catch COVID, if someone ends up getting sick, it can spread fire within a team. And that's the tough part of this, where I love football, and who knows, maybe it can go forward, maybe it can't, but we also have to keep everyone in the bubble, and that's really, really hard. I think with the NBA, what they're doing, it's definitely possible of how they can keep everyone in the bubble and keep them safe. But with football, it's just tough. I mean, there's no way to keep everyone together to keep them safe. So canceling the football season is rough. I mean, one side of me is like, you know what, maybe that's a smart thing because all the liability stuff for the school, and then the other side is like, well, at the end of the day, how long are we going to keep everyone on the sidelines?
Right.
I mean, nature is going to take its course eventually. So maybe we just need to go out and just whatever happens, happens. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. It's definitely a decision, but that's why the NCAA, they make billions of dollars. So hopefully they have some money to make the right decision. People are upset right now because they're like, why did the NCAA wait so long?
I know, because right now we're ready for it, right? Like now is when you're supposed to be buying your merchandise and your gear, and now we just have so many questions. And you see some of the players are just hurt, understandably, because, you know, we have the draft coming. Some of them, of course, want to go pro, and they're thinking about their eligibility. There's so many big questions and big decisions, but I think your input as a former collegiate athlete is just so important. Let's talk Navy football. I mean, talk about your experience there. You played defensive back, safety. I mean, what was it like for you? I mean, playing at such a great school, you know, where football, I would say it's king. Y'all do a little something there at Navy, and y'all are pretty good. So what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, the experience playing at the Naval Academy was awesome. You know, we played 4 years, you know, playing, winning seasons all 4 years. We went to bowl games all 4 years, ended up winning our final bowl game against Texas Bowl. Yeah, that was great. Ohio State, my senior year, we almost beat them. We got really, really close. Yeah. And beat Notre Dame twice throughout the time. So my football,
always a good feeling.
Notre Dame. That was great. It beat Army and Air Force all 4 years, so that was no worry right there. But time at the Naval Academy, you know, learned a lot playing football. Had an amazing time. I mean, I have memories from football that will never leave me. Had a really good time. Met some of my best friends in life were part of the football team. So I'm really happy I got that opportunity. And for the kids out there who are working and aspiring to be college football players, go after it, because you're going to make some great memories. You're going to meet so many great people and have some experiences that not many will ever get. So if you have the opportunity, take it. Don't squander it. Make the most of it.
I love that. Don't squander it. Make the most of it. True lesson for everybody out there. Jesse, you've done so much. We're looking forward to continuing to watch you grow. I mean, from the truck series to your recent race, like, what would you say? What's next for you? What's next for Jesse Iwuji in terms of NASCAR and just your overall career?
Yeah, next for me. Well, so right now we made our first start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Yeah. That would be the NASCAR Cup Series. I got a little bit before I get there. I got to gain some experience in the Xfinity Series, learn a lot. You know, I'll probably make some mistakes here and there, but learn what I can on track before I can, you know, upgrade to the next level. Once we get to the Cup Series, that's the top level of NASCAR, and you know, I'll be the first naval officer ever in history to make it to the Cup. So grinding away to make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Yes, we're praying for you.
That's next for me on the racing side of things. In the business world, you know, trying to grow my businesses right now. I'm in talks with a lot of people to continue to elevate everything we're doing. There's people who buy into our company. There's people who want to partner up with different things. There's all these different opportunities out there that we're seeing because we're putting that groundwork in every single day. We put that effort into the university. University, we usually put that effort back into you too. So we're seeing a lot of things come, you know, the fruits of the labor, I guess. And that's the next step on that side of things. And then, you know, family-wise, you know, eventually want to get a family going. And
we need future NASCAR drivers, Jesse. Don't deny us.
Little mini Jesse, whether it's a guy or you know, something. So next things.
It's exciting. And just on the NASCAR front, because we're all looking forward to what's next. Talk about what preparation is like for you week in and week out as you're preparing for these races. Because I don't think enough people know what goes into the work of being a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, preparation, a lot of it's simulator racing right now because we don't get practice right now. With what's going on with COVID, when we get to the track, we usually would have a day or two of practice, and then you race, you qualify, and then you race. Right now, we don't have that. So our only training is my little simulator I got behind me. Steering wheel, shifter, pedals, all that, and that's what I use to train. And the software is very, very close to real life as far as the dynamics with the car and how the tracks look. So we're using to train right now, and that's basically my only training I get. I do that with my physical training. I do some brain exercises with this one company, Synapse Neuro. Those guys help me out with some reflex training and things like that. So that's really all I can do right now. There's not much.
Yeah, we have a fan asking. He wants to see the simulator. You don't feel any pressure to do it, so you got everybody excited.
I might be able to show the simulator. Give me one.
Get a tour. Oh my God, that is super cool. Oh, that is super cool. See,
I use my Oculus Rift, which you can see right over there on my shoulder. So that's so I don't use a screen in front of me. That screen right there is just to see basically, through the options menu. But once I'm getting through, I have the steering wheel right there behind me and the ship and all that.
Amazing. I feel away because this is coming from somebody that still needs to get her license. So I don't even know if I can do the simulator. This is why I'm doing the interview and you are the driver. It's amazing. Okay, so you talked about the preparation towards race week, and you said Wednesday. That's awesome. I appreciate you showing them. So the next race, do we know yet?
Do I know when my next race will be? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think right now the aim is to run, I believe, Vegas.
Okay.
Unless something else pops up before then, right now I think the aim is to run Vegas. I don't run every single race. I run like a part schedule. Because of budget. If I had a bigger budget, I'd run all the races. But
yeah, of course.
My budget is pequeño right now, so it's not huge.
Yeah. We understand. We want to support. That's why I wanted you to give that. And just like any inspiration or any advice that you could give for those out there, Jesse, that want to be like you, have dreams of being a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, for those out there who are aiming to be a driver in any motorsport period, you got to know that with racing, it's not just on track racing. It's not just being a really, really good driver, because there's a lot of really, really good drivers out there who aren't racing NASCAR. You got to understand the sport. You got to understand motorsports. Everyone knows that racing, obviously it costs some money. So not only learning how to drive on track, you got to learn the marketing side so you can make yourself marketable enough for a brand, any kind of sponsor to come in and be like, hey, I want to attach you with our marketing campaign. And that's what's going to allow you to get on track, because they're going to give you the funding you need to get on track. If you don't figure that part out, it's going to be very difficult to get on track. Some people get very fortunate and they're really good drivers, and the team will just pick them up because they already have a sponsor. But a lot of these teams are struggling to find sponsorship themselves. So they need someone to come in who can bring that sponsorship themselves. If you can learn marketing and be a good business-minded person and learn how to do B2B deals and things like that, that's what's going to help you get on track. So I always tell people, go find the money. However, start your own business, be super marketable, whatever you got to do, go find the money. That will make things a lot easier to get on track.
Nice. Like, find the money, follow the money. It's needed. And Jesse, just curious, any just favorite drivers before you headed into NASCAR, even ones that you look up to now?
One of the ones I looked up to probably the most was Dale Earnhardt Jr. A really cool guy. Talked with him quite a few times. Just really down-to-earth person for someone with so much popularity and so much media around him and everything. Super, super down-to-earth. There's people with half the amount of media attention who are just like a-holes. He's not, he's just a nice, good-hearted person who just understands, and I think that type of compassion and ability to keep yourself level-headed, if everyone could be like that, the world would probably be a better place. I
agree. We just need people to care about each other, but I think it's just, again, just so amazing. And again, I appreciate you for your time. You've just been truly amazing. We have to look out for you on the next circuit. I know I had my 30 minutes. I kept you in that 30-minute time frame, Jesse, but again, best wishes. If you have any last words for the audience, please feel free to say them now.
No, everything's good. Everyone, follow me on social media. Look me up. You can see my name right there, Jesse Iwuji. If you can't remember that, go on Google and type in Navy NASCAR driver. You can find me on any social media platform. I'm very open. You can send me a message, any DMs. I'll answer all of mine. Yeah, follow the journey, support it. The more we have following us, the easier it is for us to show brands that we're marketable. So on social media, go to my website, sign up for my email list, keep on watching all the great stuff we have going on. We got, great news coming up hopefully soon. So, keep following us, keep supporting, and we'll keep the journey alive for everyone. And hopefully we can inspire others to be able to achieve their dreams too. And one of my favorite quotes from Les Brown is, never let someone's opinion of you become your reality. And you're going after anything in life.
Powerful, powerful, powerful words there, Jesse. I appreciate your time. If I need to add one more job to you, I know your parents are Nigerian, you're Nigerian. We got to get this to Nigeria. We got to keep the pipeline coming, Jesse. We need more drivers. Help us expand the sport. But again, just thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Again, best wishes and wishes of success to you. I'll continue to follow.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Have a great one, Jesse.
You too.
Bye. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the special live stream edition of Listen In with KNN. I truly appreciate your time. We'll be back Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with special guest David Aldridge. You all know the man. I mean, so many years of NBA coverage. Of course, he's now editor-in-chief of The Athletic DC. We're going to talk all things sports. Again, that's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And please, please, please check out the audio version of the podcast that dropped yesterday with Larissa Harris, a sports reporter and host down in the A. Thank you, as always, for your support of the show. I could not do it without you. As always, the show is on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Listen In with KNN, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, the audio version. Please, please, please continue to support my team. Thank you so much for putting in work each and every week. It's not just me. I know you all see me on screen, but I have the most amazing team that just week in and week out continues to produce. So thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you all Saturday. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.